Hello, I'm here. Technical difficulties. Our, our stagehand is, he's new. What are you going to do? Oh boy. I have music troubles. That's what we want. That's what we want right there. Uh-huh. There we go. So we're here. Remember, it's a simulcast, meaning we're transmitting on Facebook Live, YouTube Live, and Twitter Live, now known as X, but I'm going to keep calling it Twitter. Elon, come on, get serious. Yeah. So, I've had a little issue with my microphone. I was just testing it out on a microphone stand, and then I forgot to plug it in over here. Put that right over there where it belongs. Yeah. So there'll be a time when I take this heel PR40. It is the highest technology heel microphone there is, before Mr. Heel passed away. Yeah, it's amazing. When you get older, you start noticing all these people that pass away. Is it my turn? I feel good. I don't have any issues so far. None known, anyway. I don't have anything growing. God, I got all these messages. Oh, there we go. Get out of here. Yeah, all right, we're good. We're here. I can go. There we go. I know, it's scary, I sound almost the same, but, the big 8-0. I love birthdays. Because the alternative, if you stop having birthdays, that's not a good thing. So we want to keep having birthdays. As long as I'm ambulatory and compos mentis, as opposed to non-compos mentis. We stay compos mentis. Yeah. Ooh. We got this. I have this thing on here, not because it's windy. It's because, well, let me take it off. There we go, I took it off. You know how that is? It gets a little rumbly. Let me put it back on. Yeah, that's better. It prevents the diaphragm when you get real low. Or if you kind of like puff out a lot of air when you speak. Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers. If I said that into this microphone without this windshield device, you'd be popping like popcorn over there. Yeah. So there's a wire that goes all the way down here. Here's this thing, and then it goes down there, and it comes around over here, and then it has this. Can we see it? Almost see it right here. This inline device that amplifies the signal that's coming out of these dynamic microphones. There's no electricity, if you will, that is required to operate this microphone. You just plug it in. There's a 3-conductor plug. It goes over there. It goes in the top of my soundboard here, which we can almost see. This is the top of my soundboard, but the camera doesn't quite get over this way. No, yeah, I don't think I can. Let's see if I pull this down, what happens. Ooh, look at that. Yeah, there we go. See right there? That's the microphone. That's this thing with the red doodad. See, there's a red doodad on the microphone, and there's a red on there. And this second one, there is a second one there. Turn up the lights so you can see, almost see. Yeah, see right there. There's the second one there. That goes all the way around behind here, and it plugs in to, yeah, this side of the master computer. And there you go, right here, with the blue. There's so much black around here. I put a little blue tape on there just so you could see it. We turn down the lights to something less than high noon. There we go. The boomer. See, there's nothing underneath here. This boom comes over. When I'm done, I just push that back out of the way. Then I got my work surface without this thing in front of my face, because, you know, we don't need all that distraction. Get a nice little good morning. Good morning. The winds are 13 miles out of the northwest. You see a little. Oh, sorry. We have to add this. I added the wrong one. Add this one. There we go. Yeah. See, winds out of the 13 miles an hour. I guess out of the northwest. It's 76 degrees. That's the low temperature of the day, and it's going to reach a high of 84. And right now the sun on my patio is causing an 87-degree temperature, and it's 69.1 in this studio, which is a tad chilly. So, there we go. So we can see what's going on there. We're just going to add Jimmy. If I can do that. There we go. And I'm on the right side where I want to be. There's another thing I did yesterday. I reformatted. Remember we were talking about this. This is a serious problem here. We got to turn Epidemic down just a tad. I can't hear myself think. How about that? Yeah. See, we have that on there because we're streaming. And now Epidemic is being streamed into my computer. And then the output to the computer is going around through this wire into this thing right here as like microphone number 2. But instead of it being microphone number 2, it's the output from my MacBook Pro. So I'm cycling that back, and then it comes back in through the back into this USB-C port, so that you hear the background music. And I don't actually have a separate device. I'm just, that's like I interview person number 2, which I could do. Because I have this is what I was testing out, which got me 3 minutes late today. This is, like a 5-pound. This is solid cast. Oops, sorry, cast iron, and it has the same fitting, so I can just pull this thing out and put it right in here. If I had another guest to interview. But I usually just get text messages from people saying, well, what about this and what about that? But here you can see this is real skinny, like if I added this, see, and then you have skinny that up a little bit. That's the elapsed time, which who cares about that, right? So I just wanted to make sure you can still see it that way. Good. All right, let's. We know there is elapsed time. We'll just leave it over there, and you can see it there. That's this iPad Pro is acting as a stopwatch, keeping track of exactly how much time we're on air. There's another little signal up here, 13 minutes, 50 seconds coming up. Yeah, bingo. So, what's going on there? We don't know. So it's a nice little situation here. This is where I was talking about the 15 million people over the age of 120. And if they're receiving Social Security benefits, there's a question. They have to dig into this further. But if those 15 million people are getting Social Security benefits, I contacted the Social Security Administration, and the average benefit for 2024, the average benefit is about $1,800 a month. Okay, so if you take that, multiply it by 12, that's $21,000 a year. It's actually, like higher than that, but I rounded down, so we have 3 zeros. Yeah, it was like 21,600 or something. So I brought it down to 21,000 per year. So if you multiply 21,000, you see, if you go down to F here, if you multiply 21,000 by 15 million, that's 315 billion a year in Social Security benefits that are being paid to people over the age of 120. Do we think that's true? That's what we need to, these people, this Doge people, headed by Elon Musk. I mean, this would be quite a leak. Yeah, this is like, like you got a ship, the American ship is floating through the sea of debt. Because we're 30-something trillion worth of treasury bills that, many governments own. And if we were to go, in theory, bankrupt, then 315 billion a year, that's 26 billion a month being paid to people that are over the age of 120, which of course there aren't any, because that age is in excess of our life cycle, which is right now, about 79 or 78, something like that. So I have actually exceeded the life cycle of the average human being because I'm 80. So that's a good thing. Yeah. Except every time I turn on something, someone that I know is dead. And I'm still kicking. Yes, sirree, Bob. $315 billion a year. That's a staggering number. Yeah, that's why I like this one here, because this is this is a little tighter, so it's hard to. You can see everything. Yeah. So the DOJ needs to pursue whatever litigation is necessary to immediately stop any payments of Social Security benefits for people over the age of 120. Now, if we know how many people are over the age of 110, which there are like 7 of those, then turn off everybody over the age of 110, except for the 7 that we know that actually exist. And then we can go to, people over the age of 100. How many of those? Well, they're 23. So go ahead and turn off everybody over the age of 100, except for those 23. And we would say probably $30 billion a month in benefits that we're paying out to people that are deceased. And then, if that's the case, then we should immediately pursue litigation against the spouses or the estates of the 15 million people that have received felonious Social Security benefits. Every year's worth of that is, for this big pool of people, is 315. So every 3 years, that's $1 trillion, that we can collect. And if they don't pay, we can start seizing assets. It's not right because that money, in theory, would be used for future benefits. So that could be cycled right back into the, the Social Security Administration control. Put it right back in there, so that as we pay current beneficiaries, we can use the money that we collect, that DOJ collects from this particular situation, to pay future benefits, for like Jimmy and all the other Jimmys out there. So that's a lot of money, and that is one big hole in the ship right there. If we're actually paying, but there's the DOJ people are saying there are 15 million people over the age of 120 in the Social Security system. Now they have to find out if there are actually benefits being paid to these people. And if they are, then let's go to the bank that's getting the auto deposit, and let's subpoena, the DOJ can subpoena the bank records to see who's the signer, what's their name, what's the address, and go after them to see if they've been withdrawing this money for their use of felonious, So how does that happen? Well, someone drops dead, and the grieving spouse just forgets. She gets 10 death certificates. Usually when someone dies, the surviving spouse is asked the question, ma'am, how many death certificates would you like to have? Because when we make our filing to the state of Florida, then they have death certificates available, and we know that you'll be using them, for certain purposes. Like telling Social Security to stop paying his money into your account every month, because when your spouse dies, then so does the Social Security benefit. It ceases to be funded. but you got to tell them to turn it off, or else you start receiving that money next month, and you start spending that money. When Social Security says, oops, we're paying for someone that is deceased, they're going to come after you. Like return all the money by tomorrow, or we're going to start seizing assets. Like first they're going to seize your entire checking account to see if there's any money in there, and we can offset last month's payment that we made in behalf of Jimmy, who's not here any longer. He's in what they call that better place. Anyway, that's a little dialogue that I came up with for yesterday's show. All right, remember we were talking about, this is a little technology corner at the moment. If you look on your screen, you see what's there? That's a Tesla. That's the Tesla card that I have right here in my pink sheet, which you've seen. And if we hold it up to the light the right way, you can see the black card. You can see the black card right there. It's in here behind my identification. And why do I carry that card? Because your phone is your key. As soon as you get the car, they link up your phone with Bluetooth, and your phone is registered with the car's computer, so that anytime you come within about 15 feet of the car, it automatically unlocks itself and says, "Hello, Jimmy." It actually doesn't say anything, but I'm being funny. But it recognizes your phone as the key, because you used this card to get the first phone loaded in there, under Jim W. I have it. Then we do the same thing with Marilyn, and we call that Marilyn W. Yeah. So anytime she walks up towards the car, it automatically unlocks itself and then changes all the seat settings, up or down or forward or back. You have 4 different dimensions, 4 different directions that you can set your seat. Well, she's short-waisted and long-legged, if that makes any sense. So that's different than my setting, which would be, instead of long leg, I'd be short leg and long waisted, meaning from the waist up. I'm taller than Marilyn is, but from the legs down, Marilyn is taller than I am. So you do the combination, and she's about an inch taller overall. Anyway, there's the Tesla card. Some genius decided to put that card in a tray, and I've taken a picture of the tray and filled it up with acetone. Let's see, where's acetone? I have a jar of acetone somewhere here. Where is it? There it is. I went the wrong way. There you go. There's acetone. Special purpose thinner, cleaner, and remover. Yeah, it has a pointy top on it. It almost has the kind of top that you open it up and you can squirt. Don't squirt it into your your grill, because the flame will come right up the thing, hit the can, blow up in your face, and that wouldn't be good. So, acetone, look at that, acetona. Is that for our Italian audience? Acetona. And then you have acetone, English. And below there is acetona for the Spanish people. Special purpose thinner, cleaner remover. Evaporates quickly, I'll say. It does. Anyway, so it's a solvent. Okay, I say all-purpose thinner. Yeah, it's also, it will dissolve the plastic. So the question is, what is in that Tesla card that looks like a credit card in shape, exactly like a credit card shape? But there's no slot. You don't plug that in the car. Now, you just put it down on the console, like if you right about where your elbow would be, your arm straight down. That you put that right on that surface, because there's some kind of a sensor under that armrest that will recognize the card. So what's in that card? There's no mag strip. There doesn't seem to be there's no chip that's on the surface of the card like you would see with some actual credit and debit cards. So there's no chip. So what is there? Well, they put it under an X-ray and they can see a coil of wire connected to some kind of a chip thingy. Looks like. So when you take the card and tap it between, the column between the front driver window and the rear passenger window, there's a column that comes up between those two windows. It's one of the main supports for the roof of the car. Anyway, inside that column is a receiver, transmitter receiver, that's tuned in to the frequency of this card. Because that chip, there it is right there. So when you dissolve the card, you can lift out this coil of wire, because that is embedded between two layers of this card, and then just squeezed and cut and sanded all the edges, and that's how they make this thing. So there's that loop that's actually inside that card, all around the edges, and then this little chip in the middle, which stores information that's in your phone. So it grabs your name, your billing address, your debit card number, there's a certain amount of information that is an electronically programmable chip. They call it an EEPROM chip. So when you get the car, you put that card down on, the center console thing, and you go down the menu in your car on the screen, that 15-inch screen that we're all familiar with, and you put in your vital information, like your name and your address and your phone number and your hat size. So that chip will remember it forever. It will. It's electronically programmable. Easy for me to say. So that the next time you use the card, it says, "Aha, this is Jimmy," yeah, and unlocks the car. Because they give you two of these keys, and they're set up to lock and unlock the car. But what we're trying to do is we removed this coil of wire, and if you look carefully in this photograph, you can see that it is a wrap of coiled wire. So that's what, that's the signal that's being sent out, in a big circle of 21-foot circle of influence. So, you can be 40 or 50 feet away, and this will could be excited by the radio frequency that this chip is using. They call it an RFID chip, which I think is simplistically the radio frequency ID. So that's how that is embedded in the card. And you can dissolve the card, which we don't recommend. So there's one side of the chip, and if we flip it over, there's the other side of the chip. This is face down, with this being exposed. You can see all the material that is collected on this side of the chip. The card it's been in that acetone. Anyway, so you could literally, if you wanted to, you could take that coil with that chip and, tape it inside your iPhone case. It's very thin. It's obviously, and it's very fragile because it's been embedded in that card. Well, we've dissolved that material, and it's softened up to a great degree. And so we reached about 30 or 40 feet away where a mess was made by somebody. So they could go clean that up, and then they could come back or, rest. And this... now your iPhone with the iPhone case is tuned into the car because it's basically recognizing in the EEPROM chip, which is right there. Yeah, that's as far as that reverse chip will go. Yeah. But you can see how that is. And then the lucky soul. So here's an interesting, so there's the center console that I was talking about. And you can see that coil has laid down in that magic area. So that I guess we're trying to see if it's going to give us a warning. You got to adjust this or adjust that, or else it's going to go over and over again, and maybe it self-ignites. Well, it didn't look too complicated to deal with. This guy decided to see. Where's the picture of the tape? Tape. Here it is. So then after he placed that coil of wire the way he wanted, he wanted that. He tested that shape so he could put it up higher in the phone towards the where the cameras protrude the case, and then that looks like that. You can see that there's some kind of wire underneath that tape because there's a little thing, and he has to, to either not use that card for a while, or cancel the card if you think you're not going to be using it, because we're going to be hitting that account, for just a couple of months worth. So we can save up and, get a little couple month cushion. We're also, there you go, there's a speed test. They've come up with a new looking design. This is as of April 1st at 7 p.m. 6:59 p.m. You can see it up in the corner. You see the yesterday, right above speed test. Yesterday, 6:59 p.m. So there's no button on here to run this, because this is not the application. This is a print screen of the result of a speed test I did yesterday. It's 5 milliseconds of jitter, and it loaded up 31 megabytes. That's what that 31 means right there. And there's 126 megabytes that went up and down, and 40 megabytes that went up and down. And the result is the up speed is 303 megabits per second, and 62.09 megabytes per second from the typical rotary materials. Here's an interesting picture. This guy actually caught a piece of do I have a picture of that airplane? I should, because they used, like a metal jigsaw, because remember the aircraft is made of basically, I would say 6 or 7 millimeter, 6 millimeter thickness aluminum fuselage. Yeah. So this guy put a hole in his house, in the back end of his house, and then he cut a piece of this 747. Yep, there it is right there. And kind of just connected that to his house. So the front end of the airplane is, basically the back end of the house. I guess you could flip the whole house around. This microphone should be the second microphone, and the boom mic should be the first microphone, which it is in this case. I've got it right there. Yeah. Anyway, so there's a lot of signals flying around here. When you see it all together, you say, "Oh my God, how the hell? Who did this for you?" No, I did it myself. But one wire at a time, and I had the right materials. I got these things that hold the iPad. You see, the iPad is sitting on this bracket that I got online, of course, Amazon. What else is there? Right? You can get anything on Amazon. So I got 3 of them. One to hold the iPad, one so I could prop up, my MacBook Pro, which is right there behind me. There's the screen. You can see this is the control screen that I see because I'm broadcasting this And you gotta watch, you gotta know what you're doing here. Because this is going out to Facebook Live, YouTube Live, and Twitter Live, so you don't want, in front of theoretically 2,500 friends who may listen to this at one point. You can listen to it live, or else you can time sync it. So if I started at 8 and you don't want to start until 9, you could listen to the recording, because it's not only simultaneously being broadcast on 3 social networks, Facebook Live, YouTube Live, and Twitter Live. It's also recording the signal into those 3 networks. So tomorrow, you could listen to today's broadcast, or any of the other 450 broadcasts that I've done from this particular studio. Taking a sip of my morning coffee. But look at that. I mean, those are the switches that are on left side, right side, and above the windows, of a 747. That's it right there. Look at that. Jesus. You turn this switch, and that turns on engine number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4. And you can see these gauges here that, because you have to, there's what is known as an auxiliary power unit. An auxiliary power unit. The acronym would be APU. So you start up the APU first. And that's a little jet engine. But it's not used for thrust. It's used to power, to create, I think 48 volts. I think 48 volts is the DC current that's produced by the APU and shipped up, with a big cable. It comes up and powers all these different control panels. And if you see this one right in the middle here, this tracks the flow of the air coming out, the rapidly moving air. It's almost like a vacuum cleaner, but you're on the side of the vacuum cleaner where this blowing air out into tubes. Well, you turn these dials, which are essentially switches, to divert the exhaust from the APU. You're throwing it in the side of the engine to start spinning it. And, this may spin up to, like 1,000 RPM. And then that gives enough, so you've got all this air essentially flowing through this engine, and then you push the start button, which squirts, jet fuel number 2 into the ignition chamber of the jet engine, and then it fires up, and that's, that will start the engine, and then the engine number 1 starts to spin up real fast and get up to, like 5,000 RPM, which is like the idle speed of the engine. And then you turn the switch on number 2. So all those switches would be, the red would be rotated 90 degrees. But you do one at a time, because you have to then divert the exhaust from the APU into engine number 2. and get that started. And you push the start button, and then it starts jet fuel is then atomized, squirted into engine number 2, and then you hit the ignition button, which throws a spark into it, like from a spark plug, and then that jet fuel starts, ignites, burns, and that makes the jet go faster, the engine. Then you go to number 3, do the same thing, and you use these switches to divert the airflow from the back end of the APU, from these various engines. And that's how you start the engines, one at a time. And you spin them up to about 5, 6, 7,000 RPM, and get them flowing and get them up to temperature and all that. Here's another panel of information. All these panels slide in and they get screwed on. It's almost like a big rack of computer stuff, and you got a whole bunch of stuff up on the top here. Yeah. But anytime you see 1, 2, 3, 4, that's something keyed into the engine, each engine. And here's another where you got 1, 2, 3, 4. So he's moved these panels around, so I don't know what that panel corresponds to. But anyway, that's the picture all by itself without any verbiage. I tried to do a little color correcting. Yeah, that's a little more stable. So that's what you do. Not too sure what that is right there. It looks like it could be a card reader. You put your pilot's license in there and turn it on, and it sends that information back to the home base where they input it in their computer. They've already done it, but I'm just shooting off the mouth here. Anyway, so we got 4 engines going. We've got 5. It's hard to imagine that you got 5 million square feet, for a big screen TV or something. You only need 400 square feet, 22 feet deep, and 10. Let's see. So you go across the plane. You got 20 feet underneath the plane. And then, because remember, they took the pass card away, your photo ID. Well, you can put it in the tray in the Tesla Picard as disassembled. There's a picture of, what that would look like. So let's see if I have anything. Welcome to Boca Raton. It's 76. One thing, a lot of this stuff is automatic, but if you get stuck in a pinch, as they say, you can free your iPhone from having to deal with the signal that's coming through with the downloading of this software into my computer. And then you can take this computer. Everybody. Yeah. So today is the day that Trump this afternoon is supposed to be announcing his now he checks with everybody. He just doesn't shoot from the hip. Say, well, I think I'll do X or Y or Z. He's got a whole panel of people that he knows and trusts that have the ability to comprehend what a tariff would do macroeconomically. And how that works into the balance of trade between countries. But, he was talking about reciprocal trade. Now that's, that I like the sound of that, because that means you're putting a tariff on. So if Mexico is charging us, or Canada is charging us 10%, they're charging us a 10% tariff on our lumber materials that we supply. The good state of Oregon, and Trump's, that goes, from southern sand, it's on my microphone thingy here, but it's embedded in the. See, I can plug that right into my computer, or I can plug it into my soundboard to pick up any signal that's coming out of that device that just popped up. But here he took that material, that plastic material that this coil of wire was embedded with. But see, no output. It's just sitting right there, untouched. They owe me like. Yeah, I have. I keep my card in this little red thing, keep my pocket. It's there. I have the photo ID. If someone wants to see my photo ID, I can flash that. Inside the pink case is the card, which in case my phone ran out of battery, your phone is your key, but if your phone doesn't have any power and it turns itself off, then you don't have, you wouldn't have access to your car. So that's why you keep the card in your pocket or purse. I don't carry a purse, so I'm sure you're glad to know that. In case you're interested, the Dow Futures is minus 300. Down 300, which is about 0.7. Down 300 a few years ago, when the stock market was a lot lower. 300 Sounds like a big drop, but it's 0.68%. Yeah, 0.68% change. That's with a 300-point gain. What that is as a percentage of what the Dow closed at last night. So you divide the two numbers. You add back in any Social Security numbers that were contributed. One of these senior people at Dow Jones has been provided a suite room so that he can have visitors. Yeah, these congressmen put in long days, and sometimes long days and nights. So this guy's used at least 3 pieces of tape to hold down this coil, which he took out of a plastic card, which cost him about $25 or $30 with downloads. That I get rid of pretty quickly. Yep. Let's see if I can get this. I got this. Let's see. Excuse me while I reach. Excuse my boarding house reach. We gotta remove the microphone. There. Oops, that's on my arm. So I've got the base of this thing, and I'm gonna pull up on it. Oops. That didn't work. The way I wanted to. Yeah, I have the computer taped on to this stand. There we go. I'll pull the plug out. There we go. Yeah. Okay. Just up a little bit higher. There we go. So the face of the computer has that angle. Perfect. There we go. That's how we had it. Yeah. I'm covering the keyboard, see, because that just adds. That's using bytes. All that. Gosh. It's a lighted keyboard, as you can see, and I can increase the brightness of my display with these keys. So this plastic covers everything, but I can still get to these keys. And this is just covering the keys, so you don't end up with years worth of dust getting collected inside that keyboard. So that's just a piece of a polyethylene material that was in the bottom of one of these cloth bags. So I took it out of the cloth bag and put a little tape on there, and I use that to cover up my keyboard. And this is another foam thingy which I put on there just to turn it all black. You see, even there you can see through. So this black thing then covers, so you don't see all the keys lit up, because that actually consumes bytes. There's about 8 megabytes. About 23 megabytes of bandwidth that's required to operate this signal going to 3 networks. So when you add up all the bytes, because you got this one recording, this one live broadcast, I should say, going to 3 social networks simultaneously. So the switching system that is necessary to split the signal up into 3 pieces and send it to the 3 social networks at the same time, and also take a 4th version and actually keep a live recording of this, so that if you decided to watch it after the broadcast was already originated, you could watch it. You can't contribute because it's a recording, but you could hear what I had to say and all that kind of stuff. So anyway, so this is the foam piece that was used probably as packing material when I bought one of these iPads. Yeah. So one thing I have to do is I got 1, 2. I have one in the kitchen, so I have 3. Oh, and then Marilyn's. I've got 4 iPad Pros that are getting a little dated. So I think I'm going to. AT&T has a program with like a Shurian insurance company, like a Shure, something like that. If you just call AT&T, which I'm going to do, and turn on the Assure for my iPads. I've got 2 new ones, and I've got 1, 2, 3, and I have 4 older ones. 2, 3, 4, 5 years old. If they cease to work and you have the Assure insurance, they're all working now. So I'm legal, so to speak. You can't sign up for insurance for something that's already broken. That wouldn't be kosher. So any of these, I have to check inside the iPads to see if there's a chip in it. Let's see if there's a chip in this one. Meaning, does it have its own data line number? So I'm going to hit Settings, and I'm going to go to About. See the About. Oh, you can't see the. Gosh darn it. Sorry. That would be this one. Add this one. Yeah. But we're going to go full screen on this one. There you go. So now we're about this. It truncates the what we're looking for here. So there's what you can see. And we're going to go down here. Look at it, 100,564 pictures. Wow. 1 terabyte of storage, and I got 371 gigabytes remaining. See, here's the data line number, 561. 235-8777. So there is a cell system embedded in this iPad. You have to buy that. When you buy the iPad, it is not a user installable. There used to be a little opening in the top end of the iPad where you would put in the SIM card, they call it, so that there you go. That's what's in this iPad. But now they have an electronic SIM. So the SIM is actually an EEPROM chip inside the iPad. And AT&T assigns the number and then sends it to you. And then it's in your... Oh, see, there's there's the coil of wire. That's how I know it's a coil of wire. See, there it is right there. And that coil is receiving a RFID, a radio frequency. So when you put that card up near the column emits an electromagnetic radiation, which this card picks up, this coil, and then that essentially powers the chip, and then the chip responds back with a digital ID that is matched up with my name, my address, my the VIN number of the car, because this card won't open all Teslas. It just opens this one Tesla, which is tied to the VIN number. So that VIN number is in the chip. Anyway, so he didn't want to carry the card, and he didn't want to, I don't know why he didn't want to marry it to his phone. So this way you'd have the card right, taped into the back end of the, what do you call it, the iPhone case. I think it was more of an experiment, so he tore it down, and that's what he did. I'm gonna leave my my card alone. I'm not going to dissolve it in acetone. But in theory, you could put that card in acetone in a jar, like a mason jar that you would put preserves in, and in theory you could, fill it up, with acetone, some kind of a container that you could seal it up and leave it there overnight. It wouldn't affect this chip. Apparently that's sealed, so that it's not subject to being concerned about a solvent being on it. The solvent, dries up right away, evaporates, I guess. Yeah. So that's why you want to keep the top on an acetone can, because it evaporates very quickly. So when you take all that material out of there, you want to be outside somewhere where you have a lot of air to, allow this acetone vapors to mix with. You don't want to do it inside, because then those vapors would be, concealed in your room. You can see there's a coil. It gives you an idea that's a coil. Yeah. So he's bent that coil. It's very fine wire. So he's bent it around the camera outputs. That's where the camera module would be popping through that case. He's used black gaffer's tape. I have a spool of that also. I like gaffer's tape. What gaffer's tape is if there's like machinery in the set, of some kind of movie production or a TV production, and there's light reflecting it because you have all these, studio lights, you put a little piece of black tape on a shiny surface that you don't want to be, you don't want noticed in the film or the TV production. So you have gaffer's tape and you cover up the edges of whatever the heck is, or like, if you have a camera, and part of the movie or the TV show you have shows this camera on display, it's on the set, and so you charge a fee. You get a hold of Canon, for example, because you have a Canon camera that's in the set, and they say, would you like to, you pay us a $50,000 fee and we'll leave your name exposed in the film and make sure people knows, that's a Canon camera. The marketing department says yes or no. And Canon doesn't pay often for those kinds of things. But Nikon does. Anyway, so go back to Canon. So Canon says, no, sir, thank you. We'll pass on having, pay a fee to have our camera on display in your movie for, 128 seconds worth of transmission time. So they would use the gaffer's tape and cut out, a precise piece to cover up the Canon name, and any other names, you're not going to paint it because you don't want to ruin the camera. The camera is an item that's on the set, which, might be Uncle Louie's camera, or they buy one for the purpose of, having someone take a picture with a camera, and that's in the movie picture for some reason. And likewise, like with a Coke or a Pepsi, sometimes you see the can turned around so you can't see whose it is, instead of the big Pepsi, showing up. Now, Pepsi-Cola is one that would pay such a thing. And in the production that's showing how to do this, the guy's taking a sip of Pepsi, period. Like I'm taking a sip of, this coffee from my K-Cup coffee maker. Yeah. So gaffer's tape is often used to cover up any logos that are on devices where that manufacturer has chosen not to pay the fee, because they charge a fee to display those logos. Yeah. So there's white tape. Same thing. If you have something white that's right near something that's reflective, you use that tape to cover it up. In this case, you see right in the middle of the roll. Whoops. This is a 1/2-inch spool of, gaffer, Gaffer. It's commonly called gaffer's tape. I was looking for, I have a roll of it here somewhere. It's supposed to be over there, but it isn't. So I've been doing some repositioning of some of these things that are on this tabletop. Yeah. I have this keyboard over here. Can you see this? No, you can't see it. So I can turn my chair around and deal with this. Let's see if I can rotate this around. See right here? There's a keyboard right here. And this is Bluetooth to the computer. So if I want to type something, I can just, if I want to increase, the brightness of this display, see it's getting brighter, and I can turn it down, way down. Ooh, yeah. I'm controlling that with this keyboard over here. And I turn it all the way up, and I go 1, 2, 3, go 3 clicks under full brightness. So it's bright, but not 100% brightness. All right. So let's get this back to right there. Right, we got to bend it up a little bit because this is a delayed broadcast, so we can. In 5 minutes, the stock market is going to open. And right now, Bitcoin in futures trading is down like $800. The Dow futures is down about 300. Nasdaq is down 277. This is futures. What people expect these stocks will trade at. It's very complicated. Yeah. This Dexcom G7. It's interesting. They're advertising the heck out of it. And it's this and it's that. And it used to say it's the most accurate. Well, Abbott Laboratories, I think, went after them and said, You ain't the fast. You ain't the most accurate. We're the most accurate, and we'll prove it to you. So you take that out of your ad, or we're going to sue you for defamation of character, defamation of our product. And the what do you call it? I'll show you on my phone. I don't actually have it. It's still in my arm, but it's expired. It lasts for 2 weeks. Then you got to put another one on your skin. It should be right here. Yeah. Libre 3. Yeah, it just said Freestyle Libre 3. Yeah, I can see it. Freestyle right up on the top. Yeah, and it's the size of a penny, and it has a circuitry in there that communicates with the iPhone every 5 minutes, and it gives you your blood sugar reading. You know, for people that are diabetic or near diabetic. Tesla is opening up in 3 minutes. The futures on Tesla, it's trading down $12 a share at $255 a share, and down 4.6%. You know, on the opening, that's a relatively serious sell-off, which makes no sense at all, because the Tesla is a magical. I mean, we drive one. It's the best car I've ever driven. And I've driven, all the finest Mercedes, BMW, I mean, you hate to put Toyota in. I mean, I've had the finest Toyota products, which is the Lexus, is the high-end Toyota product. And I've driven the X7, for 3 years on a 3-year lease with BMW. We've driven all the best, not Rolls-Royce and not Bentley, which is a different level of, those cars are $300,000. Not because they're fast, just because they're, a Bentley car. And they're built nice, and, some of these English products are, and French cars, whatever, they carry a big price tag. I'm talking about the normally available Lexus, I think it was an RX 450h. So I had a hybrid Lexus SUV, and it was beautiful. At the time, I thought this was the best car I've ever driven. We've had the finest Mercedes-Benz cars, and Meryl and I both, each had, a fine Mercedes product. She had the 2-seater. She was not working. She took off to have just a couple of boys, 3 or 4 years apart, and so she dropped out of work for about 6 years, and she was spooling around in a Mercedes 500 SL, which is a 2-seated sports car Mercedes, which is, you can take the roof off and it has a convertible thing. It was just unbelievable. Yeah. But I'm telling you, this Tesla car is the best car that I've ever ridden in. The suspension is unbelievable. It's electric. The computer screen in the front controls the entire car. There's no knobs, buttons, or switches anywhere. It's a complete clean dashboard, if you will, of the car, but you have this 16-inch screen in the portrait mode, and everything about the car is controlled with that screen. So you set up everything with the screen. So you go through the entire, all the menu items on the screen and set it up the way you want it. The Tesla rep shows you how to do it. It's designed for a 10-year-old to be able to do it, so it's not like an adult can't do it. Anybody that is, Tesla's selling down 16. The liberals are attacking Elon Musk. Now, what the hell does that have to do with his car company and the cars? They're producing a car every 45 seconds, and the Tesla stock is trading down, 16 points today. For what the hell reason? Quarter one deliveries come in at 336 units, which is probably down. How many units did they sell? The first quarter of last year, and they compare one quarter to the next, and everybody's down. With this pre-election, business. It would be the first quarter, So everyone's uptight about, what. I'll sign in with Apple. Let me do that. I'm logging into. I'll sign in with a password. Oh. There we go, That's easy. Is that it? Well, maybe you have to check it first. All right. We should be done. I've done everything you're supposed to do. All right, I've had enough of that. Let's do that. Let's see what happens. Log in. Will it log? Oh, I should have checked this Face ID thing. Oh well. We'll do that next time. So we're logging into. I have an account with what do you call it? UPS. I always keep up with the best camera equipment, so it seems like I'm always selling a lens or buying a lens. I trade, sell the old stuff. Old, it's like 18 months old, maybe a year old, still under, I have like an extended warranty on these products. And so that way, whenever I sell, something on eBay, I'm pretty much guaranteed. Because I've got warranty items and so forth. So when the buyer of one of my cameras or lenses gets the product, it's still under my extended warranty. And after a couple of months, then I turn it off. Because surely that guy, he paid, I shipped, and they check it out like crazy. Because they use their dollars to buy my stuff. So if it's not working right, they get after you right away. And very early on in my selling, I was selling Hasselblad equipment because I wanted, I wanted the new digital stuff. So the old film base, I should have kept that as a souvenir, but it's a pretty expensive souvenir, because the Hasselblad, it was a 5, like a 501, 503, something like that. We encountered an error. Oh, we're just going to say phooey with you. we're going to cancel all that. Hello, we're going to proceed as a guest. Hello, guest. Are we tracking something? I thought we were. I thought that was already in there. No, well, I'm trying to find my coffee maker, which I ordered. Yeah, it was really slow and all right, do we have internet problems today? Oops, we're having trouble displaying your orders. Let's do a speed test. Yeah, sometimes. I wonder if even the signal is getting out, because right now I don't have enough signal to run the iPad. Oops, error. We can't reach speed test. Check your internet connection. Oh, that's not a good thing. Let's, producers, let's check up on what's going on. I know how I can do this. I have speed test. Let's see what happens with this. Yeah. So for some reason or other, this iPad is not connecting to the internet. I see you can no, you can't see it. It's not part of the Ecamm Live suite of things. So when I'm loading a separate application, so I have 37, 38. It's not a strong internet connection. The ping is 30. You know, a ping is what they go ping. You know, it's like when you're in a submarine, you hear the ping, and so it sends out a like a transducer. Actually hits a ping, and then that sends that ping through the water, under the water, because you're in a submarine, right? And it times how far that ping went out, and then bounced off the hull of another submarine, let's say, or the bottom of the hull of a destroyer or something. So it measures the time the ping went out to the time when the system heard the ping come back. So it's it's like a round trip of that ping. Well, in the world of internet, we ping it also. In other words, speed test sends a ping out into the internet, and then the internet says, "Hey, I read this ping," and then they send it immediately back to you. Well, this small computer program, an application, an app. App is short for application, and application is, short for a computer program, and that's exactly what it is. It's a computer program written to operate on a MacBook Pro computer. That's what the speed test is. And the results aren't good. Let's try this one. I have speed test loaded in every device, so that see, look at that. It's looking for servers and can't find a place. And it's a you can see this one. Get rid of this thing. There we go. That'd be this one. You see that blue? And I hit go, It says error. So it's not on the internet either. So for some reason or other, my iPads, let's see, how about my iPhone? Is that connected to the internet? Let's do a speed test. I have that also. It's right here. You can, producers, will you keep track of what's going on here? Remember, this is being run by my three people, me, myself, and I. And I'm the talent, in quotation marks. And then I got a producer and a director. And they're a little slow at the switch here. So here's my trusty iPhone. I'm going to turn the screen brightness down a bit so that you can see it without it all being blared out. The digital camera up here is extremely sensitive. Whoops. So in the bottom here, I have 4 folders, and they're packed with applications. This last one over here is full of my Tesla, Waze, which is, like a mapping. If you put in an address, it'll keep track of, what road you're supposed to be on and how many miles you've driven and, what's your ETA, on your spot where you're trying to go to. There's my Uber button. In case I want to take an Uber, watch this, I'll push it. See, Uber pops up, and whoop, there's the Uber app. I used it to get to Houston's yesterday. And if I want to get there today, 1900 Northwest Executive Center Circle. Here's the Uber results. And there's a big vehicle, the Uber XXL, the big, if you had a lot of luggage going somewhere. The Uber X, 4 minutes away, and there's another Uber X Priority, whatever that means, and it's 3 minutes away. One is $14, the other is $16. So for 2 minutes, I can get an Uber. I don't want an Uber, so I'm going to fully swipe that up, and it's gone. Here's my Freestyle Libre, which I've shown you. That is to check my blood sugar. I should put another one of those in my arm. What is this, Wednesday? I could do it today. Yeah, it's the 2nd of the month. Might as well do it at the beginning of the month. Anyway, here's the settings page on my phone. See, his Wi-Fi seems to be connected. But no. Let's try speed test again. On my phone. Oh yeah, I didn't do it on the phone. Take a video test. Get away from here. Ooh. Darn it. Let's do it. Let's start again. Speed test. It's right there in the middle. See, the circle turned green. Sorry, my hand was in the way. It was blue with this go thing, with the and there was a little message on it that says you are connected to the internet. So now I'm going to press the go button, and it's going to go through its testing. Now see how that's sweeping all the way around. It's 400 megabits a second, 390, 340, 346. You can see it right there. That's a currently running speed test with my iPhone. And the upload, which is what I need for this streaming broadcast, I need about 22 megabytes per second, and I'm getting 44. So I've got plenty of headroom. That's what they call it. I'll give that 4 stars. Yeah. See, connecting, and they're running it again. 30 millisecond ping, which is not it should be 15 to 20 milliseconds, not 30 milliseconds. So it's a little slow on the ping test. You see it's up to 410, that's download. And upload, it's 47, 46. I really need to get a hold of Xfinity because that's not good results there. I'm paying the highest price you can pay for internet speed because I do a lot of stuff on the internet, mainly what we're doing right now. My cleaning people come in at 11, so I can't stay on this connection too long. See, I can push that and there's my calculator. It's like an HP 19C. Anyway, let's close that up. So I'm getting a Wi-Fi signal. This is if people want to come into Wi-Fi. My personal hotspot. See, there should be something on there to tell you whether it's hot or not. How hot is your hotspot? Yep, there's Marilyn's car. Is she driving? No, it's fixed. It should be parked. Yeah, it's parked. All right. You can see exactly where the car is. I can see the odometer reading, 6890. Yep. 249 miles of range. You know, for a gas tank, that would be like 60% full. For this, you know, for an electric car, 249 miles would be about, 80% full, 85%. Well, you know what? I can tell you exactly. Let's go to Tesla and see if I can get my car on here. So that's questionable because my internet connection doesn't seem to be working with my devices. All right. So all I got to do is touch that button. 87%. Yep. Or 249 miles. But we live in a structured parking garage, and the building people charge $2,000 and put a plug right on the column next to my car. And Dr. Brian did that for his Tesla. And then he went and he traded in his Model S and bought a like a Gemini SUV. I said, "Oh, Jimmy, I love it." No. I said, "It's electric?" He says, "Well, no." I said, "I got a deal for you. Let's trade parking places. I've got one of the best parking spots in the building, right next to the level 3 elevator. Oh boy, you're gonna love it." And so I still have an electric car and you don't. So let's switch spots. You drive in my parking spot and I'll take your parking spot. How about that? He says, "Yeah, let's do it." So he checked out my spot, which is spectacular. He said, "Let's just trade spots. And, we don't need to get the building in there. I paid for the plug, so you got the plug there. And so you can plug in. And I'll park in your spot. You park in my spot. And we'll just, we don't have to make it official and all that kind of stuff." They don't really mention the parking spot number in the lease itself, I don't believe. So, anyway, I have 230 volt circuit with 32 amps in that plug, so I can plug in any day I feel like it to top off the tank, so to speak, and fill it up to like 90%. You can fill it to 100. So if we were going to go on a little road trip and go up to, north of Vero Beach, like Stewart, and have lunch at a nice, waterfront place in Stewart. They have some really nice places. We could go right up there, and it's like 75 or 80 miles north, so it's an hour and a half drive, so to speak. So you fill it up to 100%, and you drive, 80, so that'd be like a 150 mile round trip. So, the range on the car is about 280 miles, roughly, 300 miles, let's just say 300. It's a 300 mile battery. So, in an electric car, you don't have a gas tank, you have a fuel tank, aka also known as a battery. You got a battery in an electric car. Yeah, I can't connect. This is not connecting to my Tesla because I have no internet connection. I wonder if I should let's restart this booger. Let's shut it down. Down, Virgil. So we're going to shut it down. And let that just rest for a minute. And we'll start it back up and see. And we'll do the same thing with this one. It's settings. Can you see it? You should be able to see it. There we go. Settings. There's my data line, 8777. Wi-Fi and Bluetooth. It seems to be all connected. Anyway, general. Go all the way to the bottom of this menu and shut down. And then you slide this button. You see how I'm sliding it from left to right? Slide the button to power off. There's a guy in Apple that designed that feature, that sliding, He designed that like 18 years ago for the first iPhone. And all the geniuses at Apple at the time said, hey, that looks like a good idea. Steve Jobs approved of that. He said, that'll be the official way of turning off our devices. I think that's great, because that way you have to do two things to turn it off. You have to go to the place where you turn it off, and then you got to slide that switch over. So in case, the turn off thing was accidentally, sought after because it was sitting in your pocket, and when it was jingling around in your pocket, somehow or other you got to the turn off screen. All right, well. All right, where's the turn on button? It's right here. So we're just going to push that button. There it is. So now I see the Apple logo. We're dark here. I'm not too sure why we're totally dark. Oh, there we go. And there is the Apple screen. There it is. So let's do speed test and see if we're now connected. It's pinging. It can't find a server. Oh yes, son of a gun. So I'll have to, when I get off the air here, I'll figure that out. I just loaded new software update, so I think I have to reboot the router to get the internet connection. I'm getting it on my iPad, so that's working. But I'm not getting it. I'm not getting it on my my iPads. Yeah. All right. Hey, look, all you can do is the best you can. Let's see, we have to turn on this iPad. I'm holding the button until the logo shows up in the middle. There it is. You can see the classic Apple logo. There, now you see the screen, and I click here, and that'll... Come on, baby, why'd you go dark? There we go. I mean, if I do speed tests on this, is that circle gonna be blue? See, it's blue. That's not good. That means it's not connected. It can't find an internet connection. Now my virtual private network is on. Maybe if I turn that off, it says connected. We're gonna turn it off if I can. Let's see what that does. Alright, it says not connected. Yeah, okay. So now I'm going to go back to general. Or, excuse me, SVPN. I'm going to leave that off. And then we're going to try speed test again. See, look at that. Now I'm connected. So I guess I have to connect and reconnect the virtual private network. See, it's circle, it's green, it should be connected to the internet. It says connecting, but it's not connecting. Alright, so I say it's live TV. Alright, we'll get rid of that. Let's try the Tesla app. Will it connect to my car? And it has. So the virtual private network, the VPN, is what was interfering with my connectivity. So now I'm going to turn, I'm going to hit the eye over here. Oh, I think I can just turn it on with that switch. And connect on demand. And it's green, connecting. It doesn't say connected. Connecting. If the VPN is operating, there's going to be a little VPN box in the very top right corner. And it has trouble connecting. Connect on demand. CyberGhost VPN is it's trying to connect. Let's go to speed test again. Is it green? No, it's blue. No internet. No internet. Yeah. So I think I have to reboot the server In other words, I'm connected. If I turn off the VPN, I can get into the internet. But if I have my VPN on, I cannot. So what I'm going to do is turn on VPN on all my devices. Yeah, it's not. I can't get on the internet on any of my devices. But if I turn off the VPN, which, the VPN, the virtual private network, is there for a reason. Let's go. This live TV is very interesting. His battery. The Dow is trading down 85, which is nothing. It's like 0.2. It's less than 2%. It's 2%. 0.2%. Yeah. Yeah, when you got the Dow up at 41,000 or 42,000, a drop of 300 or 400 points is not a massive drop. These guys talk about it like a massive drop because they're used to seeing, the Dow at some much smaller number. Click on demand. It's not connecting right. So now it's not connected. It's off. Now if I run speed test, what happens? You are connected to the internet. So it's the VPN. I updated the Apple had an updated software of okay. Let's just do the ping here and see what happens. Connecting. 24 millisecond ping, so that's good. Yeah, I can tell just from the ping how the rest of the test is going to go. It's, like around 400 megabits per second. And the upload speed is about 60. So I need 22. So that's why we're still on the air. But I can't be on, let's see, it's virtual, private network is turned off. So I'm going to have to unplug the server, plug it back in, and that way I break into a new, position. When you log into, this is important now, when you log into the internet, which your router does automatically, your account number, your account name, which is probably your email address, and a password, either the guy that set up your router or you can do it yourself. I told, when I first came into this apartment, I contacted Comcast, which is now Xfinity. So they came up and they made sure that, there was sufficient, millivolts of circuit coming through the cable wire, which is always an issue in a multifamily building, is they don't wire the building correctly. They wired everybody in series instead of it being a parallel board that goes right into the fiber optic. They have this wire that comes in, and everybody's spooled into one wire. Well, that's a very inefficient way of connecting people to the internet, because I'll never be able to get faster than a certain speed, because I have to share my speed with everybody else, so to speak. before the router. So what's always a good thing to do for everybody now, everybody, is to go to your router and unplug it from the power source. There's a little plug on the side or the back of the router. You're connected to, you have a, probably like a 12 volt charger or power supply that goes into that plug, and it's powered by, your typical AC circuit. So you plug in this transformer thingy, and then that gives, 10 or 12 volts at a half an amp, so it's a relatively low power, power supply. So that's plugged in the wall socket. So you're going to unplug this power supply from your router. You just pick up the router and look on the back end of it, and you'll see, what port it's plugged into. But you're going to unplug it. You're going to follow that wire around to where that iPad is located, and it's located in my it's located in the connection is established in the MacBook, and there's a connection with my Rodecaster. It's connected to the internet, I think. Let me hit this with a button here and see how we're doing with Rodecaster. Now it's not using check for software update. Connection failed. Okay, it's not connected to the internet either. So we're going to go back here, hit that thing, system, network. Okay, we're going to just, RP 801, Royal Palm Plaza 801. That's where we used to live. I didn't change the wording on my router. I figured the hell with it. Because I picked up the router and brought it with me, and just connected it up to the new apartment. I didn't actually have Comcast do it. So we want to join the network. So it's searching for networks. So this is going to make a separate connection. The Rodecaster Duo here. There they are. There's RRP801, second on the list. I'm going to press that. It's a touchscreen display. And I made the login very simple, so I wouldn't have to, remember too much. You have so many logins and passwords. It's annoying. All right, done. So now it's going to connect, hopefully, to the internet. It is. Now it's connected. You can't see this, but it says connected to. So, in other words, the router is delivering, a proper signal. Okay. So now we're going to hit the beta switch again. System. Information. Check for updates. Your firmware is up to date. Click that one more time. Okay. So we're good. It was just an update, a couple of days ago. Every couple of weeks, the Rodecaster Pro is a relatively new instrument. They have the Rodecaster, just Rodecaster. It's the original one they made, and then they have a Rodecaster Duo and a Rodecaster Pro Roman numeral 2. Yeah. This is a 2-microphone model. There's a 4-microphone model. Well, it's just the two of us here, so we don't need. Anyway, hope the border crossing is way down, and of course they're building the wall like crazy. They've got crews building that wall almost 24/7. all day and all night long. They have crews that come in, work 8-hour shifts, and the next crew comes in. They take 15-minute breaks every couple hours. But they're installing that wall 24/7. And they're taking it out of the Defense Department budget because Trump is classifying this as an invasion. These other countries are invading our southern border. They're trekking, across Mexico and jumping our border. And they're jumping in sufficient numbers where our Border Patrol can't keep up with what the heck's going on because they're stuck doing paperwork for all these people that migrated from various cities into our country. And they didn't do it through their embassy. And, you get a green card or whatever until such time. You get a job, you get a green card, and then you behave yourself while your embassy is trying to work out all the linguistics of that you're designed on your new installation. Whoops, sorry. Anyway, so it's, in one case, we live in a very complicated world, and in another, it's not as complicated as one might think. But, all right, I'm connecting to the internet, 25 millisecond ping, and you see it's up over 400 now. As soon as I see the ping, I know what the test results are going to be, and it's probably going about 50 on the uploads, 30, 40, 42. It's sharing it with me because remember we have our internet is on a separate signal. See, it's 44, so it's really 60 something. But because I'm using about 30, the value that's showing up is it's a dynamic read off the internet. It's not static, it's dynamic. Test again. Here we go. I'll push that button. And it's connecting. It's connected. 21 millisecond ping. That's real fast. We'll give that 4 stars. Unless it tells me why the heck it's, my ping is supposed to be the highest ping that anybody has. All right. What else we got? Any other news of the day? Let's go through my little inventory. WatchOS 11.4 is downloadable as of yesterday at 7:49 p.m. You can see it up on the top of this picture. You should be able to see that. Yesterday, 7:49 p.m. That's why that picture's there. I showed you that cockpit. It bolted onto the side of someone's house. Oh boy, they had to use a crane, and it was the front. It was the cockpit, a part of the cockpit of a 747. The guy hacksawed it with an electric saw. To get to this, it'll do that because he didn't want to put a card in there. He wanted to use the actual circuit. But yep, he dissolved the card. That's what it looks like, all slopped up in acetone. Yeah, it will fully dissolve it. Here's my rent check. My rent cafe. I'll have to try. I'll do that later. All right, so we're done. We've had a nice time here. Let's see, is my yep. We're clocking in 2 hours and 7 minutes. So a little light on the call-ins today. So you all have a great morning. At 11 a.m. my cleaning people come, so they're going to be like little whirling dervishes running around here, vacuuming and washing out the bathrooms and everything. They do an outstanding job. Yeah. So I have to connect up my internet. I gotta take, I gotta take there's my vitamins in the bottom of my little cup. I have a pill machine. 2 machines, one for Marilyn and one for me. You got so many frickin' pills when you get a little older. And some supplements, I must admit. There's 2 supplements, 3 supplements, and there's 9 pills in here. So you got six pills and 3 supplements. So a total of 9 different pills. Yeah, it's the way it goes. But taking these pills and behaving myself reasonably, I am outliving my classmates at Roslyn High School because they're dying off. And at the moment, I'm not. I said, at the moment, I don't want to get too cocky. I don't want to get cocky at all, actually, because it gives the impression that you're not respectful for your age. And someone might say, "Okay, Jimmy, we can turn you off." No, I don't want to get turned off. I got too much to say. Not enough hours in the day. So this is my outlet, because I can say whatever the heck I want to say. Can you imagine the court administration has to defend itself because it's deporting it's deporting MS-13 gang members that are killing people in the United States. Get them out of here. So El Salvador, in Central America, if you will, El Salvador, I had some clients from El Salvador. They paid the gangs $2 million, this is a long time ago, they paid the gangs $2 million for their kidnapped son, and they got their son, but unfortunately dead in a pine box. Yeah, that's just fucking bad. They got the $2 million in money, so they ran off with that and killed the kid. Why the hell would they do that? Everybody knows who the people are. We knew who, was controlling things at that time with other countries and so forth. Anyway, so they were Salvadorians, wealthy ones, and they fled the country because there was an uprising in Central and South America. And some people died, getting in the way of the military police that were roaming the streets all, and these friends of mine were, this is right about sundown, that's when they do it. So, all right. So that's what's happening. Trump is immediately, El Salvador says, we'll take them. So apparently Trump made some kind of a deal with the El Salvadorians, and they said, look, you bring them in here, we'll catalog them just like you would, so we'll know where they are in the prison, and just give us 1 day notice, and then you want 50 of the oldest ones that we have. They're going to give you a full head. Yeah. Okay. We're going to turn off what's going on here. And we'll see you tomorrow about 8:15 in the morning. Tomorrow will be Thursday morning. Yep. And sometime between noon and 4, I'll get my replacement K-Cup coffee thingy. And I'll test Brent Cafe to see if I can log into that account. I can't seem to get in that. But maybe with this new software update. See, I went off beta. I said, you know what? I don't want this beta thing anymore because, some of these applications don't work with the future versions of something. That, when you're a beta tester for Apple, they're sending you software that's not fully tested yet. So I kept on telling them that the beta software is not working, with some applications. Like Rent Cafe, for example, doesn't work with the future beta versions. Well, yesterday afternoon at 1 p.m. they came out with version 8.4, not beta, for everybody. Is, on average it was about an 8 gigabyte file download. It's amazing. So they keep sending this stuff down, you have to ask for it, but when they send it down, it logs in, it checks it, all these procedures are stored within my computer and my iPads. So, you don't have to log in all the time. It keeps that one connection live, for months and months. But you're really squeezing the life out of these companies. All right. I'm out of here. I got to get ready for my cleaning people. They're going to be here in 30 minutes. Sometimes they get here early. So listen, you all have a great day. And let's see. I need to be full screen on this puppy. And I need to get to this visual right there. When you start and when you end, I leave, I have this logo up there. That way we know this is the April 2nd, the Wednesday edition of my broadcast. So if you go searching for it, you can see the last 4 or 5. You can see April 1st, April 2nd. They're literally 400 and something. I didn't count them actually, but the YouTube has and Facebook has, and they tell me there's like 460 separate sessions lasting anywhere from 1 hour to 3 hours. It's amazing. All that digital information is out there in cyberspace in 3 social networks. I don't know how long they keep it. I never heard of them expiring you. All right. We have the latest song here from Epidemic Sound Instrumental. We're going to give that, we're gradually increasing the volume on that right now. And I'm going to say goodbye for the day, and you have a great day. And we'll talk tomorrow. 8:15, I promise. Please. It's always subject to internet connectivity, which obviously was a little bit of an issue here today. But it was the VPN that was interfering. So I have a feeling I have to restart my server in the building from my router. So I'm going to reconnect my router and then connect the VPN. The virtual private network keeps your internet connection safe. But when you get new software, you got to restart everything, apparently. Bye-bye.